Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to another Real Madrid review. Girona nil, Real Madrid 3. What looks like a comfortable win away from home. Yes, I would say for some parts of the game, in fact, a lot of the game, Real Madrid were definitely dominant. Um, which I did not really expect because we are playing against a side that coming to this game did not lose a single game. They were unbeaten. They won 6 and drew 1, I believe, out of the 7. And coming to this game had the form, energy that they had. It was going to be a very tough game, especially considering it's away from home. And considering this time, last season, when we played them away from home, about 6 months ago, we lost 4-2. So, realistically, it was never going to be a game where we come into this game um, as favorites or a game where it's easy, to say the least. But we made it look that way. But whether it was actually an easy game, whether actually it was a game that we kind of dominated, who knows? If you look at the stats, both teams had nearly the same amount of shots. I mean, we had one more shot than them, but we had 4 more shots on target than them. They had more of the ball, which I kind of expected. They had made just a bit more passes. The pass accuracy was actually the same, 90%. We have made more fouls. Both teams with 2 yellow cards. Obviously, we picked up a red card. Nacho, straight red. We'll talk about that later on. But overall, it was a tight game. If you look at the stats, it was not a game where it was a very one-sided game. It was not a game where it was fully Real Madrid, even though the 3-0 scoreline does suggest that. But where do we start with this? Let's talk about the goals. Let's talk through the goals first, shall we? The first goal, it's just a moment of brilliance again from Jude Bellingham. Now, I'm not overhyping. I don't think Jude Bellingham is an arrogant player based on this. And I was on here when we lost against Atletico Madrid. There are actually fans out there who calls Bellingham an arrogant player, which I just can't understand because he's doing his job. The fans are happy what he's doing. Yes, he might be overhyped by the fans, but he is not an arrogant person or an arrogant player. So let's not hate on the player for no reason. He's still a fantastic player. He's still a player that's humble. Yes, obviously he's proud to have these moments like scoring late winners and incredible goals. But that's what every player wishes. You can't call any players who perform at their best and are happy that they're doing so an arrogant player. You just can't. It's just not right. It's not fair. Even though I would assume that a lot of people do overhype him a little bit too much, especially thinking that we don't need a striker because we've got Jude Bellingham, because he's not a striker. That's just that. That's simple. We all know that. But it's really, really a moment of brilliance. Now, I'm not overhyping anything, but if you watch the game and you watch this goal particularly, that pass, that Modric-esque pass into the path of Joselu, without knowing if Joselu was going to get there. He had to time it right. He had to time the pass right, because if the pass was too heavy, it would have just gone across goal. If it was too light, it would have just hit the defender and the defender would have just cleared it. So to be able to hit that ball with the amount of power at that time without knowing if Joselu was going to attack it just shows his IQ, footballing IQ, when it comes to such situations. And that was really a moment of brilliance from Bellingham. Yes, it was a good finish by Joselu. Yes, it was a good run. You have to give credit to the goal scorer for that as well, because the defender was on him, was trying to get tight to him, but it was not tight enough. Good finish, but the assist, I think, was better than the goal. I feel like the assist was just amazing. The second goal, corner from Toni Kroos. Tchouaméni scores his first Real Madrid goal like ever. I actually did not actually realize that, but I have now. And yeah, I mean, I'm happy for him that he scores his first Real Madrid goal. It seems that a lot of people, especially the Real Madrid players, are kind of joking around with him, saying you finally scored a first goal for Real Madrid, or Benz. But it's good to to see him score. Yes, he's a corner. Yes, he uses his height and physical strength to his advantage, but he was kind of unmarked, I would say, for that corner. And if you leave a player like Tchouaméni, who is pretty tall, unmarked in that situation, it's kind of like Casemiro in the past when he used to score some headers as well. If you remember, it was a great finish, even though it's a header, but it was a good cross as well, and a good goal. Overall, very good goal. Not much to talk about. The third goal, once again, Jude Bellingham. He starts this attack, pushes the ball forward, pushes forward with the ball, I should say. Lays it off to Joselu. It was a good effort by Joselu. It was a good save by Gazzaniga, and then he comes back to Joselu, flicks it on for Bellingham. Bellingham volleys it home. Not an easy finish. Great, spectacular volley. Once again, it's a great goal. It's a great finish. It's a good finish, and I feel like he should be given the credit for it. But it does not mean he should be deemed as the next striker for Real Madrid. Yes, I think there's a bit of a boundary to cross, but let's give him the credit that he deserves. Third goal, brilliant. And if you watch these three goals again, it just seems like it's a moment of brilliance at that moment that kind of won us the game. It was not an all-round dominant game, but it's about taking your chances. And I felt Girona today had a few, especially in the first 10, 15, 20 minutes before they went 1-0 down, but they were just not capable of finishing it. And you take that to your own advantage, you go on the attack, you score a goal. That first goal was brilliant. The second goal, again, from a corner. The third goal, a counter attack. You put these together, three incredible goal scoring moments, and there you go. That's the win. And yes, it was not a flattering game in terms of dominating, as I said, but when you're playing teams like Girona, who coming into this game, like I said earlier, were on good form, and teams that are definitely hard to beat, you have to rely on moments, unless you have players who are willing to change these sort of games. And I would argue that Bellingham did change this game. I would argue that Joselu did change the game. I would argue that a player like Tchouaméni did change the game. Even Camavinga did change the game as well, even though he didn't score. But even Kepa changed the game with some of his saves. So overall, it's down to some individual performances, but it's down to moments. And those moments that we had today were good enough to win us the game. That's just that. Speaking of Kepa, I'm gonna give a shout out to Kepa because he's coming to Real Madrid. I think it's been a bit of a meme about Kepa Arrizabalaga. Is he good enough? He's a flop at Chelsea. He could even be Chelsea's number one, and you're signing him. But let's give him the credit because he's got 4 clean sheets so far. Of course, against Atletico he conceded 3, but he's kept 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah. Obviously, he started his debut against Vigo, a clean sheet. He conceded against Getafe, Sociedad, kept the clean sheet in the Champions League against Union Berlin, and then Las Palmas and Girona as well. Let's give him the credit. Let's obviously talk about him when obviously he is doing the good things, when he's doing the right things. Of course, I would say that yeah, he's a good player, but I feel like in terms of the memes, I think a lot of people kind of forget about what kind of a player he can be. Of course, as a keeper, I think he's pretty alright. Whether we actually do re-sign him permanently, I'm not so sure, because obviously we still have Thibaut Courtois, who is going to come back next season. But as of now, Kepa was good. Kava was alright. Didn't really get involved too much. Camavinga, I mean, he won so many duels against the opponents against Girona. Nacho, let's talk about that tackle that could have really ended Portugal's playing career, really. I know it might sound a bit too exaggerated, but if you look back at that challenge, it looks like he was going in for the ball, but after realizing he was not going to get the ball, he still ran and caught Portugal, and he could have tried not to. It seemed like he kind of lost his head a bit in that situation, and I do believe the red card is deserved. I'm not going to try to defend Nacho here. Yes, he's a loyal Real Madrid player. Yes, he's been a servant. I kind of disagree with what the BN Sports commentator said, that he's such a loyal player. He's such a legend. How is he doing stuff? I mean, yes, you can say that, but he's doing it not because he doesn't want to be a loyal player. It has nothing to do with being a loyal player, of course. He didn't go into the tackle saying, you know what, I want to not be a legend of Real Madrid anymore and just go in the tackle. Of course, that is, I would say, more of outside of the field. That one tackle does not justify whether he's a legend or not. I don't think so. Maybe it does justify how Girona fans' perspective on him. Yes, it does, but it's not like as if he makes a tackle, Real Madrid fans will start going, "Oh my God, he's not a legend anymore." Like, no. I was surprised Rudiger got a yellow. I mean, when Nacho went off, Rudiger was trying to, say to him, you know what, just go to, the tunnel, go into the dressing room, don't get into a fight. And then I believe, I forgot who he was, but one of the opponents actually came across and I think wanted to, get involved with Nacho to have a word. And then Rudiger kind of just pushes him away a bit. And I'm not sure if that was the reason why he got a yellow. But I didn't thought that Rudiger was, trying to get involved in the fight. In fact, I think that he was the person and the player on the pitch stopping Nacho with Tchouaméni on the fight. Of course, I still think that the tackle on Porto is definitely reckless and definitely a red card worthy tackle. If that happened to a Real Madrid player, I would say it's red as well. Let's put it that way. No biasness here. But I don't know why Rudiger got a yellow. I don't know why Kepa got a yellow actually. Did they get involved? You saw a few Girona players get yellows as well. But yeah, Nacho, I'm sorry, but it's a red. It's just a red. It's a bad tackle. Not sure why Rudiger got a yellow. The midfield, Tchouaméni's got, obviously he's good. Cruz got an assist. Valverde's one of those kind of players where he may not be on the score sheet, but he still puts in a solid, performance that no one really, seems to, witness or really talk about. It's good to see Vini Jr. back, but I was surprised it was not Vini and Rodrigo. I'm gonna admit I was wrong about that statement of Jose Lu, where I said in the preview that using tall physical strikers against Girona really isn't the best strategy. If you recall what I said players who have played against Girona, especially strikers, have not really enjoyed a lot of good time. I think I talked about Lucas Boyi as well, and a few other players who have played against Girona in the past few games. And obviously Jude Bellingham, what a player, what a star, what an influence. Rodrigo came on for Vini Jr. Vasquez came on, Ceballos came on, Brahim Diaz as well came on. Luka Modric given a rest again. I thought was very interesting. And I would say when the lineup came out, I was like, Camavinga at left back. And then you look at the bench, we have Fran Garcia and we have Ferland Mendy on the bench. Now apparently, Mendy is kind of being rested. Obviously, he's just come back from an injury. Let's not play him every match. But there's Fran Garcia. And Ancelotti came out and said, you know what, with Vini Jr. playing, you kind of want a player like Camavinga who can kind of help him more in terms of his skills that I believe he does not think that someone like Fran Garcia has. So, you know what? He went out well, but let's not see Camavinga at left back every match. Thank you. Considering we've got two left backs on the bench that are both quality, because that's definitely not the long-term future solution. In terms of Nacho, I think he will be banned against Osasuna. I don't think he'll miss a Champions League though, would he? Obviously, after this game on Wednesday, this upcoming, actually it's a Tuesday night actually. For me, it's a Wednesday morning. But this Tuesday, we've already got a game, Napoli away at the Maradona Stadium. I'll do a preview. In fact, I think I'll do an early preview for that as well. But yeah, I mean, it's a great result. You know, we needed to bounce back into this um, game. And I think I said a 1-0 win, or was it a 2-1? I said something along those lines. I thought it was going to be just a tight win, but I had to back Real Madrid, of course. I just thought that we would get the job done. But we went out there and we didn't dominate, but we surprised a lot of people with the way we played and with the results we got. Now, of course, we're still top of the table. Not still, but we're now top of the table. 7 wins and a draw. Barca are yet to lose, but they've drawn one more. And, you know, obviously, no, they've drawn twice. We've drawn none. So that's good. Girona still third. I mean, look, they were never really going to think to themselves, we're going to beat Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, maybe with Real Sociedad. Look, if they can keep themselves winning against the rest of the batch, and I'm talking your Rayo Vallecano, Valencia onwards, if they can consistently get 3 points away from currently the 7th to the 20th, they can finish in the top 4. I think this could be Girona this season, finishing at least in the European spots, right? They just need to be in the top 6, really, and right now they don't seem to be dropping out of their top 6 zone, especially with how they've played, but they're playing against Real Madrid. Real Sociedad still 4th, ahead of Atletico Bilbao and Atletico Madrid, of course. Real Sociedad absolutely trashed Atletico Bilbao. But of course, Atletico Madrid are 2 games behind because obviously one was against Sevilla that was cancelled and they're yet to play at the time of recording. They're going to play next up Cadiz at home. So I assume it's going to be like a 6-0 win for them. And they're going to put themselves into 4th behind Girona. But of course, if they win their next game that they have, they'll probably be 3rd or 4th. They'll be tied with Girona. So Atletico Madrid are not far behind. Because yes, they might be 8 points behind Real Madrid right now. A win against Cadiz, which I think they will, 5 points. And then if they can win their other game, I don't know when that game against Sevilla will be played. It must have been postponed to some time in the future. But if they can get that eventually win, they will be just 5 points behind. And of course, I expect Real Madrid to slip up more. But I felt like that loss against, Atletico Madrid was a bit wounded. It created a dent. But now Real Madrid have to look forward to the Champions League game against Napoli, even though we should not really. Osasuna at home, where Nacho will miss. I'm not sure if it's 1 game or 2 game ban, but then we've got Sevilla away, and then Braga away, and then El Clasico. So, look, there are some big away matches. You got the Champions League away, you got El Clasico away, you got Sevilla away. So realistically, we are only playing 1 home game in the next 5 matches out of the next 5, right? 4 away games, including 2 in La Liga and 2 in the Champions League. So it's gonna be tough. But if we can get past this patch and come out with the best possible results ever, hopefully, then we go into a patch against teams like Rayo Vallecano, Braga at home, Valencia, Cadiz away, Napoli at home, Granada at home, Real Betis away. You're starting to look more comfortable in terms of the fixtures, of course. But the next 5 games, I think, are the most vulnerable, because if we lose out on players due to injury or suspensions, it will really, really break us, really, because Napoli away is going to be a tough physical game. Osasuna at home is going to be a must win as well, against the side that are also a top 8 team, I will assume. Sevilla away, Braga away, Barcelona away in the space of a week. So fixtures are going to be tight, but let's hope that we can cope with it. And as soon as we get past this next 5-6 games, we'll be looking much better. Just get these harder games out of the way, and yeah, we'll look much better. But I hope you guys have enjoyed today's review. I need to go and record the preview straight away because I don't think I'll have enough time tomorrow to record. So I'll do an early preview for you guys. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Hit the like button if you did enjoy today's video. Subscribe to the channel if it's on already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.